And welcome to week number 2 of the Chris Willertz Show, brought to you by JJKN3x3, as well as Snipback. We're going to be talking to Coach Willertz momentarily about week number 1. The Bay City Western Warriors drove down to Ypsilanti, took care of business, 48-6 over the Grizzlies of Ypsilanti. We're also going to talk with Lucas Julian, who will appear on our Game Changer player profile. He's going to join us on the hotline today, as we're going to do a studio call with Lucas Julian. Talk to him. He 84 yards on Friday night, 2 touchdowns. Aiden Robinson added 83 yards on 8 carries and a touchdown, as well as the Warriors ran for about 275 yards of offense. We're going to talk with Coach Willertz about week 1. We're also going to talk and focus our next attention on week number 2. We'll be right back with the head coach, the man himself, Chris Willertz, right after this brief message from Bay City Public Schools.
Bay City Public Schools, the place to be. Engaging subjects for all learning levels, a low student-to-staff ratio, a supportive environment, exceptional opportunities for all. Explore a broad range of electives, athletics, and clubs. Unleash your child's potential. Bay City Public Schools, the place to be. Learn more at bcschools.net/enroll.
And welcome back to week number 2 of the Chris Willertz Show, brought to you by JJKN3x3 and Snipback. We're going to go right to the Jolt Credit Union hotline and get Coach Willertz onto his own show. Coach, welcome and greetings.
Thank you there, Mr. Newsham. It's always a pleasure. Thanks for setting us up.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we look forward to it. We got great response after the week 1 of the Chris Willertz Show, and man, the services, everybody wanted more, so we upped it for 9 more episodes.
I tell you what, you're more charming than you think you are there, Mr. Charming.
Well, first off, congrats, 1-0. Obviously, first week. The only goal is to come out of it healthy, and on top of being healthy is 1-0. So you accomplished that. Tell us a little bit about Coach's take on week 1.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because when I got hired in 18, our week 1 was Traverse City Central. And it was like, ouch. That's a heck of an opener. And then year 2, I think it was Flint Kersley. And we kind of wanted to set up more of a week 1 date. That was something that was more like us. So we set up a home and away with Ypsilanti 2 years ago, knowing that they were a D3 school that had a good group of athletes, but also good numbers. They're a D3 program. And last year they came up and we played them, and I don't think they were ready for our offense last year. And so this year we played at their place. Interestingly enough, it's like everywhere, Thursday night, you had thunderstorms.
Yeah, that's right.
All these games that got suspended, and all these games that got, for us, we played on Friday, but Ypsilanti lost their power with the storms that went through Ypsilanti on Thursday. So we played the game at 6 instead of 7, and the clock didn't work because they didn't have any power. So the refs just kept the time on the sidelines, and we're like, we want to play football, so we'll just do the best we can. And so we did the best we could. We did have a pregame meal, which we normally do. The buses were like, it was hurried. It was just rushed. And as a result, we played sloppy. I think Ypsilanti was better than we thought they would be. And I think we were worse than we thought we were. And as a result, we got the win, 48-6. But we had to work for it. 48-6 is not really a good indicator of how close it was in the first half.
Well, it does give you guys an opportunity to, tune yourself up again for week number 2. So again, walking away with the victory, walking away 1-0, walking away healthy. And it's tough. Let's face it. You beat a team the year before, maybe a little more lopsided, and trying to get those kids to buy in that, hey, you're going to have to, step on when you put that uniform on, and this isn't going to be a cakewalk. there's a lot of motivation, a lot of, they're 16, 17-year-old kids. I mean, who doesn't think like that? Sometimes as adults we think like that. But, for you guys to get back into the groove and, the good things are that you saw on film and that you saw live. And then, of course, there's always going to be things that you guys are going to be able to build upon.
Yeah, you're right. We're 1-0. So whether you win by 40 or you win by 1, you're 1-0. And that's a big, big deal to win your opener. We had some good, I think a lot of guys carried the ball like we talked about last week. Lucas Julian carried the ball. Andrew Robinson carried the ball. Jackson Clark carried the ball. Braylon Ogas caught a touchdown pass. Mikey DeLuca, as a junior, got in there and scored a touchdown. Ran really hard. And then defensively, we had 7 turnovers. And 7 turnovers is 7 turnovers. Jack Goik sacked the quarterback in the end zone for safety. Joey DeCoff got an interception. Braden Simmons got an interception. So there was a lot of good things that happened that I appreciate you reminding me that I got to be more positive.
Hey, don't
6 and 1-0.
Hey, don't be putting that on me now. I will say this. One of the things that I'm impressed with is you just got done mentioning 5 names that you haven't even mentioned up until this point, which again I think speaks volumes to the depth that you guys have. And really, you don't have to show everything week to week because you don't know who's going to be the guy. It could be Julian running over people. It could be Robinson getting to the outside. You mentioned DeLuca. You got Clark can run the ball. Eli Malin ran for 27 yards, had a 9-yard per carry average on Friday night. You had about, I think, 8 guys get touches on the out of the backfield. So, options galore, and really any one of those guys could have gotten 6 or 7 depending on how the ball bounced.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And my instruction over the last 3 days has been, you can't complain about how many carries you get, because we have to do a lot of team building and a lot of maturity so that these kids don't become resentful of each other, but instead root for each other because they want the team to succeed more than them to get, highlights and get their name in the paper.
Well, we know as coaches and doing this a long time that great teams really start inside that locker room when the coaches aren't around. So, trying to, being happy with a 10-yard carry, the next guy getting 11 carries for 84 yards, darn near 8 yards a carry, couple touchdowns. DeLuca, I think, had 7 carries for 35 yards. 5 yards a carry, that's a first down. I'm sorry, you're going to carry it twice, you're going to get a first down. So, again, a lot of good things. Coach, when we come back from break, we're going to take our focus from the Grizzlies. We're 1-0, and now we're going to focus on the 1-0 Northmen of Petoskey, who are coming to the Cornfield this Thursday night. We'll be right back on the Chris Willertz Show, talking to the coach himself right after this brief message.
I got that new thing, new style, new walk. I got that new vibe, new grip, new talk. Been traveling around the world, and ain't nobody quite like me. I got that new thing, new style, new walk. Go ahead, take a picture.
And welcome back to week 2 of the Chris Willertz Show here on JJKN3x3, brought to you by Snipback. We have the coach himself on the hotline right now, the Jolt Credit Union hotline, come to speak of it. We're 1-0, taking what we've learned, good, bad, from week 1, and now focusing our attention on the Petoskey Northmen, a team that you guys did not succeed against last year. What is it that we're looking for, and you and the coaches have been looking for on film to try to make sure that you guys can coach these guys up to make sure that they are ready for Thursday night's home opener?
Yeah, the Northmen are 1-0. Last year, we went up to Petoskey, and they served us our lunch. We discovered we weren't as good as we thought we were last year. So this year, we are definitely taking these guys seriously. My gosh. In fact, I think a lot of people will probably consider us underdogs go ahead, Jason, because they got a running back that this Hibbler is his last name, and he is a fast kid. He's got, according to his Twitter page or whatever he's got offers from D1 schools. And in the game against Ludington last weekend, I think they won about 34-16, something like that. And of course, he had a couple touchdowns, and he's fast, and he burned us last year. So, defensively, our number one priority is how do we contain that kid, right? It's not do you stop him, it's how do you contain them so that if they're going to beat us offensively, they got to beat us left-handed.
Right.
And then offensively, our offense is meant to punch people in the face. It doesn't matter if you're, the Detroit Lions. We're going to say we're going to do our offense, and you're going to stop us. And until you stop us, we're going to do our offense. And last year we got behind, and I think I panicked, and I think the coaching staff panicked because we didn't think that the defense could stop the Petoskey, and then we ended up shooting ourselves in the foot, and it just unraveled. So, we got to have some confidence. We got to have some patience, and we got to realize that, beating this football team is going to be a challenge. It's going to require warrior mindset. It's going to require a lot of, hanging in there when they get a play or if they get a score or if they stop us, and understand that the football game is, 48 minutes? It's going to take longer than, a play here or there. So I think that's going to be our biggest game plan this week is let's play with the mindset that, to be a championship team, you're going to have to beat good teams, and they're a good football team. And everything can't just go your way all the time. And how do you handle when things don't go your way? Can you handle it or can you not?
Yeah, I think adversity is always a tricky thing. Again, I mentioned this will be the third time. There's 16, 17, 18-year-old young men in that locker room. It's a challenge when they're dealt with something. If you get down, and going back to what you said as well, I'll allude to that. You get down by a couple of scores, and all of a sudden, you start questioning yourself, and you start questioning your philosophy and what we need to do and how we need to do it. I think one of the things, just talking with you from last week, and again, knowing some of these kids personally and their background, whether it was baseball, whether it's basketball, whether it's travel baseball, they've had a lot of success. I just think that they have a confidence that I don't even know if they know that they have. That you have that winner's mentality. It's not, I'm just a winner in this sport, or I'm just a winner in this sport, or I've been to the World Series in this sport. It's something that they have the entire time, and sometimes I don't think kids know that they have it.
I agree. Or I read a book by a guy named John Eldridge, and he talks about we lose our confidence so quickly. You get so much confidence, you have a great day, and then the next day you're like, I don't have what it takes. And within 24 hours, that energy and that motivation and that courage and confidence that you have what it takes is gone with one setback. And for me, I think one of our challenges this week is to remind them, like you said, every day we have to remind them, every play, every practice, we have to remind them over and over and over again, you have what it takes. You have what it takes. The weight room has been awesome. You lift this amount of weight. You've been undefeated last year as a JV football team. You beat them last year when they were their JV. As coaches, we have to keep on breathing life and spirit into them so that they really do believe, because ultimately your dudes win football games.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, coaches can devise the plays, but ultimately my guys got to execute and make the play. My guy's got to run through the tackle. My guy's got to make the play on the one-on-one fade where they throw it out. Case and Frost is going to have to make that play, or Tate Dutcher or whoever. Ultimately, with all you have 50-50 balls or 50 and 50 plays, is my guy from Western going to beat your guy from Petoskey, or is your guy from Petoskey going to beat my guy from Bay City? And ultimately, during the week, that has to be a part of our practice plan. We have to get them to believe that they're the one that's going to make the play. And maybe it didn't happen on the previous play, but that's no indication that it can't happen on the next play.
Well, I think you hit the key in the nail on the head when you talked about 48 minutes. It's not a 44-minute game or a 45-minute game or a 40-minute game. You know, if you want to be in that upper echelon and you want to be in that conversation and you want to be that team out of certain sportscasters' mouths, you've got to do 48 minutes. You got to do 48 plus.
Yes.
All right.
Well, last week that was awesome with Bay City Central. You know, for them to get the monkey off their back and beat Flushing 28-27 in a game like that, that's awesome. That's how it should be. I feel so happy for Freddie and those guys over there.
Well,
you know, and we as humans love celebrating stories of people where they just hang in there and they find a way to win.
Well,
and I think that's going to be a key ingredient for us this Thursday.
Well, I think both of us, again, coaches, and we have empathy for coaches who have suffered some losses in some games where they want, and we obviously wish success to all across our county of coaches. But give me two quick keys on Thursday night for a Western success story.
So I would say number one is that Jackson Clark has to throw the ball well. He doesn't have to throw the ball a ton because that's not our offense, but he has to be efficient. He's got to be efficient throwing the football, number one.
Okay.
And number two is we got to stop that running back. If Jackson Clark can throw the ball, if defensively, the whole defense steps up and can stop the running back, and then I think we have a chance to win.
All right, we're talking with Coach Willertz here on the Chris Willertz Show, week number 2, previewing the Petoskey Northmen. Coach, good luck. Always great to have you on your own show, of course. That's always a benefit to have the person whose show it is on the show. But always a pleasure to talk football with you, and can't wait to catch up after week number 2.
Thank you, Jason, and thanks for what you're doing for the Bay City area. I mean, we got great football. We got great people, great athletes, coaches, and a lot of people that want Bay City to be special, and it can't be special without people like you. So I appreciate you doing this for everybody in Bay City.
Well, I appreciate that as well, Coach. We'll be right back to put a wrap on the show, as well as, before we put a wrap on the show, we're going to talk with Lucas Julian. He's coming up next on the Game Changer Player Profile Hotline. You're watching the Chris Willertz Show here on JJKN3x3, brought to you by Snipback.
In life, there are a few rare instances where it's okay to give nothing and get a whole lot of something in return. Take the Kasasa Cash checking account from Jolt Credit Union, for instance. There's no minimum deposit and no minimum balance requirement, so you pay nothing to open the account, no monthly fees to keep it running, and yet you can earn up to 4% APY in dividends month after month. Open your Jolt Credit Union Kasasa Cash checking account at joltcu.com/Kasasa Cash. APY equals annual percentage yield. Federally insured by NCUA. See website for details.
And welcome back to the Chris Willertz Show here at week 2, as we are getting ready to head to the Game Changer Player Profile Hotline. We're dialing in with Lucas Julian right now, the running back and linebacker, accounted for 84 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns on Friday night's victory over Ypsilanti. Welcome to the show, Lucas.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah, Lucas, being a senior last year, I know you were a little bit banged up throughout the season, weren't sure how that was going to go. How important was it for you to get back on the field in week 1 against Ypsilanti, healthy and ready to roll?
Yeah, I went through a lot of injury last year. I had another shoulder surgery. So week 2, I ended up getting hurt, and then I was told I needed surgery, and I held it off for the rest of the season. But it feels good to be back and healthy.
Well, I mean, you guys got off to a great start again, 84 yards on 11 carries Friday night. Going into the Ypsilanti game, was there more excitement, or was it more business as usual approach with you guys on that long bus ride down to Ypsilanti?
Well, the game got pushed forward, so we didn't really get to do our traditional pregame. So we were kind of all excited, but we were kind of clustered and we were scattered getting down there. But when we got down there, it was business, but we felt like we already beat them, and I feel like that played a role too.
Well, speaking of beating and mental approach, let's turn our attention real quick to week 2 opponent Petoskey, sitting at 1-0, going to be the home opener out there at the Cornfield. Last year Petoskey was able to get the better of you guys. How much do you guys have a revenge factor? Do you guys have just, again, is it more just we're just going to approach it week by week and put our best foot forward because you've got the ability and you have the playmakers on your team to do a lot of damage?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a revenge game because last year that was a bad game. So we're definitely coming this year. We're not going to be too far over our heads going into that game, but we're going to go in there and get it done.
Well, I appreciate your time, Lucas. Best of luck this week. Thursday night game, right? Thursday night at the Cornfield?
Yep, Thursday at 7.
Yeah, Thursday at 7. Cornfield going to be rocking out there. Get a chance for the local team, local fans to come out and support the Warriors. So best of luck on Thursday night, and hopefully when I talk to you next week, we'll have the same type of result and the same type of conversation as we turn our attention to week 3.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, you're watching the Chris Willertz Show here on JJKN3x3. We'll be right back after this brief message. The Chris Willertz Show being brought to you by JJKN3x3, where the elite come to compete, by Bay City Public Schools, Jolt Credit Union, they are all in, and Robinson Appraisal and Associates for all of your home valuation needs.